a recognised intellectual property that already exists and already comes with a ready-made fan base. The reality is that we are drawn to stuff that is already familiar to us. Hello, I'm the Fantasy Bookworm, and today I want to talk about tie-in books and what it is that appeals about them to so many people. So by tie-in books, I'm referring to books which tell original stories, but which are based on a TV show or movie franchise or some wider intellectual property. So this isn't going to be so much about novelizations, though I probably will cover those in a future video. Those of you who've been paying attention will have probably noticed that I actually have quite a lot of Doctor Who tie-in novels right here on the shelf just behind me. So, for instance, this one here is Winner Takes All by Jacqueline Rayner, and this is a completely original Doctor Who story starring the Ninth Doctor that's not adapted from any episode of the TV show. And incidentally, very recently I just put out a review of this book here on my channel, so I'll put a link to that up on screen now, and please do go ahead and check that out if you would be interested. I'll just put that back in there so it all looks neat on the shelf behind me. Now, I don't just have Doctor Who tie-in books, and to give you an example of one that's not Doctor Who related at all, this book is called Strange Screams of Death by Nigel McCrary, and it's a tie-in book based on the BBC TV show Silent Witness, and you can see depicted on the cover Dr. Sam Ryan, as played by Amanda Burton, who was the main star character in the show at the time when this was published back in 1997. And again, this tells an original story which is not based on any episode of the show that was broadcast. So I think the way I'm going to structure this is, first of all, I will talk about what it is about tie-in books that appeals to me personally and why I have so many of them here on my shelves, and then I will talk more broadly about the appeal of the tie-in book. So as far as why I am so drawn to tie-in books personally, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I get autistic hyperfixation. So basically, if I discover a TV show or a movie that I really like, something like Doctor Who, it's not enough for me to just watch it and then say, oh, well, that was good, I enjoyed that, and then switch it off afterwards and then not think about it again for the rest of the day. I have to keep thinking about it and I have to delve deeper into it, and so I will go online and read reviews about it, join in fan discussions, I'll post about it on social media. Incidentally, follow me on Bluesky if you're not already. And another way in which I like to engage is through delving into the expanded universe. So that can include comic books or audio dramas or tie-in books like this one. So in my case, it's about having a way to get more content out of something that I really enjoy. But as far as why tie-in books appeal more broadly, I think it's the fact that it's a recognised intellectual property that already exists and already comes with a ready-made fan base. It might sound cynical, this, but it's the same reason why the likes of Disney and Marvel keep cashing in on the same franchises and milking them over and over again, as opposed to coming up with something original. And as much as people complain about that, and I complain about that, I think quite rightly, the reality is that we are drawn to stuff that is already familiar to us, so from a marketing point of view it does kind of make sense. And I'm probably absolutely guilty of this myself as well. I will fully admit that I am more likely to give a chance to a new author who I've never heard of before if it's in the form of, say, a Doctor Who tie-in book, because I know that even if it turns out I don't like the way it's written, I know I'm still going to get some sort of enjoyment out of it simply because it's Doctor Who. I suppose that sounds kind of negative when you put it like that, but I think in a way it can be seen as a positive as well, because publishers know that they are in a way taking less of a risk if they publish a new author if it's a tie-in book. And because of that, it can be a way, I think, for new writers to get their foot in the door. So, for instance, Jonathan Morris submitted a synopsis for an idea he had for a Doctor Who novel to BBC Books in the late 1990s, and that went on a slush pile, and it actually ended up getting picked up and commissioned, and it was published as Festival of Death in 2000, and I've got a copy of it right here. And off the back of getting this book published, Jonathan Morris actually went on to have a very long and prolific career, writing lots of tie-in books and audio dramas for Doctor Who and other science fiction franchises such as V. Incidentally, this book Festival of Death is a very good book, in my opinion. It stars Tom Baker as the Fourth Doctor, and it's one that I need to talk about at some point in future, I think, so do let me know if you would like to see a review of that. But that about covers everything as far as my thoughts on this topic, so do please go ahead and let me know down in the comments what you think about tie-in books. Do you read any of them yourself, or do you prefer to stick to reading things that are entirely original? I'd be very interested to know. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again here on this channel very soon.